You didn't find this video, it found you. Not by luck, not by coincidence, but by divine orchestration. The moment your heart whispered, "I'm ready," the universe echoed back, "Then it is done." Right now, something sacred is unfolding within you. You felt the stirring, the invisible movement, the inner shift that no one else can see, but you know it's real. Before the blessing arrives in the outer world, it first arrives in your inner conviction. Before the money, the love, the healing, there is the image, the belief, the deep knowing. You saw it in your imagination, and that was not pretend. That was the real beginning. You are not becoming blessed. You already are. The moment you entertained the thought of a better life, the moment you dared to believe there must be more, you triggered a holy law. This law does not operate by struggle or a merit. It operates by assumption. By your knowing, you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and everything else rearranges itself to reflect that. So hear me when I say this. You are not watching this video out of boredom. You were drawn here because your blessing is now activated. The blessing is not waiting on the world. The world is responding to the new version of you that has awakened. And now, that version begins to be mirrored back in opportunities, in people, in sudden favor. You're not waiting anymore. You're remembering. You are remembering that the delay was never denial. That the quiet season was not punishment, it was preparation. And now, the doors begin to open. The right people begin to call. The divine provision shows up without your striving. Not because you tried harder, but because you finally believed. So be still, feel it, rest in the knowing. This is the season where heaven invades your timeline. The moment you said yes in your spirit, life said yes to you. You will look back on this moment not as the beginning, but as the moment you recognized what was already yours. Your blessing has begun, and nothing can stop it now. You did not stumble upon this video by accident. It was an algorithm of a coincidence. Something far greater is at work here, something that responds not to your frantic search but to the silent signals of your awareness. Life is not a game of chance. It's a mirror that reflects the quiet intentions of your heart, the things you dare to feel before they appear. The moment you became aware that change was necessary, the moment you silently whispered, "I'm ready for more," the wheels began to turn. Awareness is not passive. It is the most powerful force in creation. It calls things into form. You didn't have to scream or beg. You didn't have to explain your worth to the universe. You didn't even need to know what you were looking for. Your desire was enough. The hunger in your soul was heard. That longing, that ache, it was not ignored. It was answered the moment it arose. And this message is the evidence. You see, awareness doesn't operate on the surface. It works beneath appearances. It's not about running around in search of the next solution. It's about becoming deeply still and fully aware of the life you truly want to live. When you allow that vision to saturate your inner world, life has no choice but to respond. That is the law. And so, this video has arrived in perfect time, not a second too late, not a moment too soon. It came when your awareness reached a certain frequency, a certain depth. That frequency acted as a beacon, drawing toward you every piece of the answer you've been seeking. Not because you chased it, but because you aligned with it. There are no accidents in a conscious universe. Everything that shows up in your life is a match to your dominant state of being. That is why awareness is not the search, it is the signal. When you tuned your inner dial to transformation, life began sending frequencies that matched it. When you felt a shift within and said, "I want peace, I want clarity, I want breakthrough," Your world started rearranging itself to reflect that declaration. You didn't need to find this message. This message was already on its way to you. The only requirement was that your awareness be ready to receive it. And now it is. The blessing is not coming. It has already begun. And this moment is your proof. Before the blessing takes shape in the world around you, before the money is in the account, before the healing is visible, before the relationship appears, something sacred has already occurred. It showed up first in your imagination. And that was not a fantasy, that was the first arrival. What you imagined in the silence of your inner world, what you played out when no one was watching, was not meaningless. It was creation. It was the unseen becoming real. Imagination is not wishful thinking. It is the creative force behind all manifestation. Everything you see around you, every building, invention, relationship, success, began as an unseen thought. Someone dared to believe in the invisible. Someone allowed themselves to feel and live a scene in their mind long before the world gave it permission to exist. The same is true for you. When you pictured yourself free, successful, or at peace, that was not the beginning of the process. That was the moment your blessing arrived in consciousness. And consciousness is where all things are birthed. You don't have to wait for the external proof. That image you held, that scene you felt as true, has already been accepted by the higher law. The law that says, as within, so without, as above, so below. You are not imagining things for comfort. You are not fantasizing to escape reality. You are entering the only true reality, the inner world where all things are formed. That moment when you felt the joy of already having what you desire, that moment was sacred. That moment was real. It was not a preview, it was presence. The outer manifestation is simply a delayed echo of that inner moment. You may not see the evidence yet, but do not confuse delay with denial. What you've imagined with faith has been sealed. The world may not yet show the picture, but the canvas is already painted within you. The feeling is the confirmation. The imagination is the arrival. Now the rest of your life will begin to match what you've dared to believe in silence. You are walking forward not toward the blessing, but with it. You are not hoping anymore, you are remembering. You are remembering what you already saw, already touched, already claimed in your imagination. That was the true arrival. Everything else is simply unfolding from that sacred place. You don't need to force it. You only need to remain faithful to the vision. It is done. The blessing has arrived, and it began with you. The prayer has already been answered. Long before you saw a single change, long before you received any confirmation, the answer had already been spoken into existence. You are not waiting on the blessing. It is waiting on you to realize that it's here. You are not living in a state of asking anymore. You are living in the space where the answer is already unfolding. Not loudly, not all at once, but silently, steadily, like the sunrise that breaks through darkness without permission. You are now living in the answer. Not because circumstances have dramatically shifted yet, but because something inside you has. That shift in awareness, subtle yet powerful, is the true beginning of manifestation. What once felt like a distant dream, what you once labeled as someday, is now slowly revealing itself in the fabric of your present moment. The signs are small perhaps, but unmistakable. Your peace has deepened. Your fear has loosened its grip, and hope is no longer fleeting. It feels familiar. This is the answer. The quiet knowing. The inner confirmation that something has changed, not out there, but within you. The moment you started feeling the truth of your desire, the moment you allowed yourself to believe it was already yours, the future began collapsing into now. You are not chasing destiny anymore, you are aligning with it. And so, this present moment is holy. It may not look like everything you've imagined, but don't be deceived by appearances. The roots have taken hold. The foundation is in place. What is visible is only a fraction of what's unfolding. What's unseen is where the real magic is. Just like a seed planted in the soil doesn't show fruit on the first day, your answered prayer is working beneath the surface, but you can feel it. And that's enough. You are no longer the person who is asking. You are the person who has received. That's why certain things no longer disturb you. That's why your energy feels different. You've been changed by the very thing you desired. And that change is the evidence of the answer. What you used to call the future is now softly whispering in your present. The timing, the resources, the opportunities, they're coming because they must. You are now dwelling in the answer, living from the end, and walking in the direction of fulfillment, not lack. Hold this awareness because it is sacred. You've crossed the threshold. The answer is no longer on the way, it is already here. What you accept as truth within yourself begins to organize everything around you. Inner conviction is not just belief, it is alignment. It is the moment you no longer hope, you know. And from that knowing, life begins to echo back confirmation after confirmation. You no longer look outside to be convinced. You already are. The outside only reflects the state you hold within. This is why things suddenly begin to shift. Not because you forced the world to change, but because you changed your relationship to it. You stopped asking whether the blessing would come, and instead you walked as if it already had. That shift in posture, quiet, unseen, sent a signal, and that signal is now being returned in form. This video, this message, this moment you're living in now, it's not a random event. It's the echo of your inner transformation. It's the world saying, yes, you've been hurt. When your conviction becomes unshakable, the world has no choice but to bend. Because your reality is not governed by circumstances. It is governed by what you accept as true. You may not see the full picture yet, but that doesn't matter. Even the smallest crack of confirmation is proof that the inner is becoming outer, that something invisible is now being made known. The infinite speaks through signs, through quiet nudges, through things that seem insignificant until your spirit recognizes them. And now, this moment right here is one of them. This is not just a video. This is a whisper from the unseen, a message encoded with the truth you've already accepted. It is done. Keep walking. You may have been waiting for something loud, something undeniable, but creation often begins in silence. It begins with the still, unwavering conviction that says, I already have it. That conviction creates a vibration. That vibration shapes experience. And what you're beginning to live right now is that experience returning to you. So do not question the small signs. Do not overlook the gentle confirmations. These are the early fruits of your inner knowing. They are the first drops of rain before the flood. They are the universe saying, your belief has been received. Your faith is creating form. Keep going, keep believing, keep knowing. Your world is responding not to your words, but to your certainty. The outer confirmation is already here because the inner conviction was made strong. You've already crossed the line. Now watch the evidence rise up to meet you. There comes a moment on your journey when you realize striving is no longer necessary. Not because you've given up, but because you've finally aligned. You've stopped chasing what already belongs to you and instead stepped into agreement with the version of yourself that already possesses the blessing. This is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's not passivity, it's power. You remember that what's yours doesn't need to be forced. It only needs to be accepted. All your effort, all your striving, all your desperate attempts to make things happen were only necessary when you thought you were separate from the outcome. But you're not. You never were. The moment you stopped running toward your blessing and instead decided to become the one who has already received it, everything changed. The shift was internal. And that internal agreement, subtle but powerful, is what begins to draw all things into alignment. You don't need to convince life to bless you. Life is always saying yes to who you are being. When you were being someone desperate, life mirrored lack. When you began being someone fulfilled, life began to unfold with ease. This is not magic, it's law. It's not about deserving, it's about alignment. When you align with peace, peace meets you. When you align with abundance, abundance finds you. And when you align with the version of you who already has the blessing, the world begins to rearrange to match that version. This is the end of forcing, this is the beginning of flow. You've stopped pleading and started allowing. You've stopped striving and started receiving. You've come into inner agreement with your highest self, the one who already knows it is done. That agreement sends out a frequency, and that frequency draws experiences, people, resources, and timing that reflect your new identity. Alignment is not laziness, it is precision. It is the highest form of spiritual intelligence. Because it says, I no longer work from lack, I live from completion. And that completion, the fullness you now feel, is the sign that you've crossed into a new reality. So let go of the hustle, let go of the worry, let go of the doubt. You're not here to prove yourself, you're here to be yourself, the self who is already chosen, already provided for, already blessed. The blessing has already begun. You stepped into agreement with it the moment you stopped striving and started trusting. Keep walking in that truth, because now the work is finished. You're just aligning with its manifestation. You are not attracting blessings through effort, hustle, or struggle. You are drawing them in because you have become the one to whom they naturally belong. This is not about force. It is about identity. It is about embodying the version of yourself that already knows the blessing is inevitable. And when you know, when you truly know, without wavering, without doubting, that inner declaration becomes a magnet. Everything in your world begins to shift in response to the state you occupy. The outer world is not random, it is responsive, it mirrors what you carry within. And when your inner world declares, it is already mine, life cannot help but reflect that truth. You do not have to demand anything. You do not have to chase. What belongs to you begins to recognize you, the moment you recognize yourself. This is the sacred mystery. It is not effort that brings things to you. It is alignment with the version of you that already has them. It is inner knowing that creates outer manifestation. Blessings are not rewards. They are reflections. And the clearer your self-concept becomes, the more easily those reflections appear, not as miracles, but as a natural outcome of who you've become. The moment you stop hoping and start knowing, something powerful happens. You stop asking if it will happen and begin to prepare for its arrival. You begin to think like it's already done, speak like it's already real, and move through your life with the calm confidence of someone who is already provided for. That calm, that confidence, that knowing, it is the sign that you've become the one. And now all things must come to you. They don't come because you want them. They come because you're now a match. You've become the container that can hold them. You've made room for them in your heart, in your thoughts, in your energy. Your knowing has made it so. You don't need to beg for the relationship, the healing, the breakthrough. You only need to live from the end, to walk as one who has already been chosen, already been favored. Your energy now says, I have arrived, and the world rushes to meet you there. This is the law. The world does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. And when you become the one who knows, everything else must align. Because now you're no longer seeking the blessing, you are the one the blessing seeks. You did not come across this message by accident. It found you because something within you shifted, because your awareness called it in. Your blessing has already begun, not by force, but by your silent agreement with the life you were always meant to live. Imagination revealed it, conviction anchored it, and your alignment sealed it. You no longer chase because you know. And now all things are moving toward you, not because you became the one who receives. Let this be your reminder. The moment you stopped striving and started believing, the blessing started flowing. You're not waiting anymore. You're walking in it now. Stay faithful to the vision because it is already yours. Say thanks like this. Thank you, Divine Presence, for showing me that it is already done. Thank you for aligning my mind, my spirit, and my path with what is already mine. I no longer strive, I rest in knowing. I no longer chase, I receive with grace. I am the one you have chosen, and now I walk in the fullness of that truth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything you've ever imagined, every quiet whisper of desire, every sacred longing, every hope you buried in the silence of your heart is not lost. It was never overlooked. From the moment you felt it real, from the instant you dared to believe even slightly in the possibility, your blessing was set in motion. You may not see it with your physical eyes yet, but you are walking through the in-between, and this in-between is sacred. It's where reality catches up with what you have already dared to accept. You must understand this. The world you see is just the shadow of your inner assumption, the echo of what you once believed. If you look around and see contradiction, do not fear. Do not question. The contradiction is proof that the shift has already occurred inside of you. And now the old must fall apart. It must unravel so that the new can rise. Do not beg. Do not chase. You are not here to struggle for what is already yours. Instead, be still, enter the silence, and touch the feeling of your fulfilled desire, not as someone hoping, but as one who knows. The moment you accept the reality of your blessing internally, without needing evidence, it begins to bloom in the unseen. And from there, all of life begins to organize around your declaration. Events are set in motion, conversations are scheduled, people are moved, circumstances align, not by your effort, but by your acceptance. You are not forgotten, you are not behind, you are not late. Everything is lining up. Even the delays were preparation, even the heartbreaks were redirections, even the closed doors were divine protection. The blessing is not waiting on you to be more. It is only waiting on you to agree that you already are. Stop doubting. Stop checking the clock. Stop asking when. The moment you chose to believe, it began. Your blessing is now, not tomorrow, not next week. It is now, pressing toward you, racing to meet you, wrapped in the disguise of ordinary moments. Your only work is to remain faithful to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That is your prayer. That is your power. That is how you command the unseen to become seen. So walk with confidence, act from the end, speak from the place where it is already done, and most importantly, rest. Rest in the knowledge that it is finished. Everything is lining up, your blessing is already in motion, and nothing can stop what was promised to your spirit. Everything begins within. Long before you touch it, see it, or experience it in your outer world, it was first shaped by the quiet power of your inner world. And the tool that crafts this inner world is imagination. You are not a passive observer in life. You are a creator, a builder, a divine architect. And your imagination is the tool through which you draft the blueprint of your reality. The life you are currently living, every detail, every relationship, every struggle, every blessing, was first born in imagination, either consciously or unconsciously. Most people believe the outer world dictates the inner world, that circumstances determine emotion, that what they see decides what they feel. But that is the path of the unaware. The awakened soul understands a sacred truth. It is what you feel within that gives birth to what you eventually see without. Think for a moment about a blueprint for a home. It doesn't look like much at first, just lines, sketches, symbols, but to the trained eye, it holds a vision. The builders take that image and step by step turn it into form. The house you walk into months later already existed in invisible lines before a single brick was laid. Imagination works the same way. When you imagine yourself successful, free, loved, healthy, joyful, and believe it as your truth now, you are writing the plans. You are instructing the outer world on what to build. You are handing the universe a design, and life begins construction the moment you feel it to be real. But here's the key. You must live in the blueprint before it exists in the flesh. You must act from the knowing that what you imagined is not a fantasy, it is a preview. It is not a dream to chase, it is a reality to accept. Most people sabotage their blueprint. They imagine abundance, then speak of lack. They see love in their mind, then fear rejection in their heart. They touch the vision in silence, then undo it by doubting in the noise. To live this truth, you must be loyal to the unseen. You must choose your inner vision over your outer evidence. For a time, your current world may look unchanged. That is not failure. It is the fading echo of the past blueprint. Give it time. Life needs space to rearrange. Walls need to be torn down. Old structures must fall so that the new may rise. And in that waiting, you must hold the vision. You must live with the knowing that what you imagined is real now. Let your words reflect it. Let your walk reflect it. Let your choices reflect it. When doubt whispers, return to the blueprint. When fear rises, close your eyes and see what you've chosen to believe. You are not imagining to escape reality. You are imagining to create it. Every great breakthrough, every invention, every masterpiece the world has ever seen began in imagination. The mind saw it long before the eyes did. So go boldly within. Shape your world in thought. Feel it fully. Believe it completely. Speak it gently and release it faithfully. Today, the outer world has no choice. It must follow the inner pattern. Life does not resist the one who holds steady to the design. So craft your blueprint with intention. Sketch your future with clarity. Build in your inner world what you want to see in the outer. For imagination is not a daydream. It is divine instruction. There is a sacred order to all things, and that order always begins in the unseen. What you are longing for, praying for, working toward, it does not arrive first in your outer world. It begins in the invisible. The invisible always moves first. This is the truth many fail to understand. They search for signs. They scan their environment for proof. They measure progress by what they can touch, hear, or see. But the real movement, the true shift, happens long before the physical evidence ever shows. Imagine planting a seed in the earth. For days, maybe weeks, there is nothing visible on the surface. The soil looks unchanged. To the untrained eye, it appears as if nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, the seed is splitting, reaching, growing, roots are forming. Life is taking shape. The silence above hides the miracle below. So it is with your blessing. Once you claim your desire in faith, once you feel it as true within your inner world, the process begins. Forces are activated, energy is gathered, alignments are put into place, people are guided, doors are readied, and divine timing is arranged. But all of this happens in the invisible. You may not hear the footsteps of your answered prayer, but it is walking toward you. You may not see the shape of your healing, your abundance, your breakthrough, but it is already real in the unseen. To doubt because you don't yet see is to dig up the seed because it hasn't sprouted. The visible is always the last to arrive. The invisible does the heavy lifting. It prepares, aligns, and orchestrates what your physical eyes will soon witness. This is why faith is not blind, it is visionary. It is the ability to walk in certainty while others are still asking for proof. It is the quiet knowing that your blessing is not pending, it is progressing. But here is what most miss. Your job is not to force the visible, it is to remain faithful to the invisible. Do not let the appearance of nothing happening fool you. Life is working for you behind the curtain. What you see as silence is actually strategy. What you feel as delay is divine preparation. You must continue walking, not with your eyes, but with your heart. Keep the feeling alive. Speak as if it's done. Move as if it's here. Think as if you've already received. This is how you stay aligned with what's being prepared for you. Do not speak against it. Do not undo the invisible work with visible doubt. The shift has already occurred. The moment you imagined it and believed it, the wheels began to turn. The moment you said yes in your spirit, creation said yes in return. You are not waiting on the blessing. The blessing is waiting for you to stay in agreement with it. Let this be your confidence that though you cannot yet see it, it has already begun. Though you may not feel the change around you, the vibration has already shifted within you, and that inner shift guarantees the outer manifestation. Your words may not yet echo in the world, but they have been heard in the unseen. Your faith may seem silent, but it has moved mountains behind the veil. So stay steady, trust the process, praise before you see, rejoice before it's visible. Because in the invisible, your name has already been called, your path has already been cleared, your blessing has already left heaven and is now route to your life. You've been taught to wait for outer confirmation before you celebrate. You've been told to hold your joy until the bank account rises, the relationship appears, the healing is visible. But that teaching is backward. That is the way of the world, not the way of creation. Creation happens in feeling. The moment you feel the truth of your desire fulfilled, you have entered the state of receiving. That is the true receiving. Not when it arrives in physical form, but when it arrives in your emotional world. When your inner being says it is done, that is when the blessing is truly yours. Most people think they are waiting. But in truth, they are delaying. Why? Because they postpone the feeling of fulfillment. They treat the feeling like a reward for evidence instead of understanding that the feeling is the evidence. If you only feel wealthy once money appears, you're bound to stay in lack. If you only feel loved once someone validates you, you will continue to chase. If you only feel healed once the report changes, you will remain sick in spirit, but the moment you feel as though it's already yours, before it arrives, you call it into your life. That is not imagination, that is alignment. Everything in this universe responds to your state of being, and your state of being is governed by your feelings. If you feel abundance, you are abundant. If you feel whole, you are healed. If you feel chosen, you are already loved. You may ask, but how can I feel something that isn't real yet? And the answer is this: it is real the moment you feel it. You must remember, your outer world is always catching up to your inner conviction. The delay is not because the universe is testing you. The delay exists only because you are testing yourself, oscillating between belief and doubt, between fulfillment and lack, between receiving and reaching. Stop treating fulfillment as something that lives on the other side of manifestation. Fulfillment must come before the manifestation. It is the signal, the vibration, the key that unlocks the door. So go into the silence, close your eyes, detach from what your five senses say, and enter what your heart knows. Begin to feel what it would be like if your desire had already come to pass. Speak from it, breathe in it, smile in it, walk in it. Stay there long enough and you will notice a change. Peace will replace striving. Joy will replace anxiety. Gratitude will rise without condition. This is the shift. This is the proof. And when you can return to that inner state repeatedly, regardless of what's happening around you, then know this: you have received it in full. The outer form is on its way, pulled by the magnet of your certainty. You are not pretending. You are not fooling yourself. You are not playing games with your mind. You are training your being to align with what is already yours in the unseen. The world will say, "I'll believe it when I see it." But the soul says, "I'll see it because I've already felt it." So, stop waiting for proof. Stop begging for signs. The moment you can feel it is done, you are no longer waiting, you are receiving. Feeling is not preparation, feeling is participation in the promise. And when you feel it fully, you have already arrived. To the impatient eye, delay looks like failure. To the ego, delay feels like punishment. But to the awakened mind, delay is understood as divine positioning. When something in your life feels paused, when your manifestation appears stuck, when doors stay closed longer than expected, when answers seem silent, it is not rejection. It is not the universe turning away. It is the universe aligning every detail with precision. Delay is not the end. It's the setup. You are not being denied your blessing. You are being prepared to hold it. You see, your desire was heard the moment it was felt. You don't need to repeat it over and over as if heaven is hard of hearing. Creation began the instant you dared to believe. But because you cannot always see the invisible movements, you mistake silence for absence, stillness for loss, and waiting for punishment. It is none of those things. Imagine a skilled conductor preparing an orchestra. Every instrument must be tuned. Every player must be in place. The timing, the harmony, the rhythm. Everything must align so that when the first note is played, it is not noise, but music. So it is with your life. The people who are meant to meet you, they are being shaped. The resources you need, they are being positioned. The opportunity you seek, it is being woven into the perfect moment. Not for your convenience, but for your growth. Because a blessing given too soon can become a burden. If you receive something before you are ready, before your mind can hold it, before your soul is expanded enough to contain it, you will sabotage it. The universe is not cruel, it is careful. It will never give you something meant to elevate you if you are not yet standing in the awareness to receive it properly. So the delay is mercy. The delay is wisdom. The delay is protection. It is not punishment. It is not silence. It is not no. It is not yet. And not yet is sacred. In this space of not yet, you are becoming the version of yourself who will not just touch the blessing, but thrive within it. This is where your strength is formed, where your faith is tested and fortified, where your inner world is expanded enough to hold the new life you asked for. You must stop interpreting waiting as failure. You are not waiting on the blessing. The blessing is waiting on your readiness. So use the delay wisely. Don't curse it, don't rush it, don't fight it. Instead, grow within it. Refine your vision, strengthen your mind, deepen your belief, build your foundation so that when the breakthrough arrives, you will not just see it, you will sustain it. Sometimes your blessing is just behind one final act of faith, one final moment where you choose to trust even when nothing makes sense. And when it arrives, and it will arrive, you will see why it took the time it did. You will understand the timing, you will thank the delay. You will look back and say, I wasn't being denied, I was being positioned for something greater than I imagined. Let this be your truth. Delay is never denial. Every pause holds purpose. Every waiting room is an anointing room. Every quiet season is fertile soil where the roots of your destiny grow deeper. So do not fear the delay. Bless it. Respect it. Use it. For what seems paused is only being perfectly positioned, and what is positioned in the unseen will arrive in the seen, exactly when it is meant to. Everything you are experiencing in this moment, every condition, every relationship, every circumstance, is not a reflection of who you are right now. It is a residue, a fading echo of who you used to be, what you used to believe, and what you used to expect. Life reflects consciousness, but not always instantly. Just like sound bounces off walls even after the voices stop speaking, your life continues to echo the beliefs you once held, long after you've outgrown them. So don't panic when what you see contradicts what you now know. Don't doubt your power just because the world around you hasn't caught up to your inner transformation. You are walking through the last ripple of a reality you've already changed. This is why staying focused is sacred. When you shift your inner state, when you declare a new assumption, when you accept a new vision, when you feel the new truth is already real, you send a new signal into the unseen. You have spoken into the silence. But for a time, the echo of your old beliefs may still ring around you. That's not failure, that's not resistance, that's just the old reality dissolving. But here is the test. Will you respond to the echo, or will you stay loyal to the declaration? You must train yourself not to react to appearances. The current situation is old news. It is a playback of expired assumptions. What you see is not what is, but what was. You are not bound to it. You are not defined by it. You are only walking through it. Let's be clear. This is not delusion. This is creation. You are not ignoring facts. You are choosing truth. You are choosing to live from the end rather than fall into fear. You are choosing to stand in the vibration of the future, not the ruins of the past. When the echo tries to distract you, when things go wrong, when people act out, when delay lingers, remind yourself, this is not mine. This is an old signal returning. I no longer claim this. And return your mind to what you've declared. Hold the vision. Hold it when it's easy, and especially when it's not. Hold it when the world agrees with you, and more importantly, when it doesn't. Because the world isn't the cause, it's the effect. Your inner state is the only thing that matters. It is the only thing that creates. This is where the power lies, not in fixing the outside, but in mastering the inside. Not in fighting the echo, but in reinforcing the truth. You don't have to silence the echo. You just have to stop obeying it. Ignore the noise. Refuse the fear. Speak your new reality louder than the echo of your old one. Say it again. I am already blessed. I am already aligned. I am already chosen. I am already whole. And say it not as wishful thinking, but as absolute truth, as law. Because when you persist in that declaration, the echo fades, the old dissolves, the shadows vanish, and your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match the new signal you are steadily sending. So, if things feel stuck, chaotic, or confusing, breathe. You're not lost. You're just walking through the final echoes of an expired vibration. Stay faithful to what you have declared. Keep your eyes on the inner world. Keep your heart anchored in the vision. The real shift has already happened. The outer world is just catching up. The echo is temporary, but the word you've spoken into creation is eternal. Assumption is not just a thought. It is not merely a passing wish or a temporary hope. It is the seed of creation. It is the belief you accept as true even before there's any evidence. And once planted firmly in your consciousness, everything in your world begins to obey it. The law is simple. What you assume to be true, consistently and without wavering, will harden into fact. The world around you, what you call reality, is not fixed. It is pliable, flexible, obedient. It does not act with free will. It mirrors. It listens to your inner conviction and it organizes itself accordingly. Not occasionally, always. You may not realize it, but your life is a living reflection of the assumptions you've carried about money, love, health, worth, and possibility. These assumptions live beneath your words. They speak through your energy. They shape your expectations and your experiences. If you assume you're always overlooked, life delivers people and situations that confirm it. If you assume you're deeply loved and favored, the world will rise to reflect that too. It is not magic, it is law. And here's the miracle, you get to choose the seed. The seed you plant is the belief you feed, and the one you feed, you live. Most people water seeds of doubt, limitation, and fear, then weep when those are the fruits they harvest. But the wise know that to change the fruit, you must change the root. You must dare to assume differently, even when it contradicts your past, even when it defies your current circumstances, even when your senses scream the opposite. You must remain loyal to the new assumption. You do not wait for proof. You become the proof. Say to yourself, I am worthy, I am successful, I am chosen, I am safe, I am wealthy, I am loved. And don't just say it, assume it. Make it the core of your identity. Let it be the lens through which you see everything. You may ask, but what if I don't see results? That question itself reveals your inner allegiance. Because when an assumption is truly accepted, you no longer look for evidence, you expect it. You live as though it already is. You walk differently, you speak differently, you react differently, and slowly the world bends to meet you there. There may be a delay, but never mistake delay for disobedience. Life is adjusting, rearranging, aligning to match what you've dared to believe. Your assumption is the command. Life is the servant, but only when you hold steady. If you abandon the new belief at the first sign of challenge, you uproot the seed. But if you persist, if you hold the assumption with quiet confidence, regardless of appearances, the results are inevitable. Everything, people, opportunities, outcomes, obeys the assumption you refuse to let go of. You don't chase, you don't force, you align. And in that alignment, everything changes. So plant wisely, choose powerfully, assume boldly, let the seed be, it is already mine, and live from that place, not as a performance, but as your truth, because once the seed of assumption is planted and protected, Life has no choice but to bear fruit in its image. You were never meant to chase life, only to align with it. What you imagine, what you feel, what you assume, these are not empty acts. They are the blueprint, the motion, the command. Everything is already in progress, even when you don't see it. Even when it feels silent, the invisible has moved. The delays you feared were only sacred pauses, giving time for the unseen to arrange the visible. The contradictions you faced were merely echoes of old beliefs, fading out as your new truth rises. Hold the vision, trust the blueprint, anchor yourself in the fulfilled feeling, assume the best, and do not let go. Because life is not resisting you, it is responding to you, and everything is lining up. Your blessing has already been set in motion, and no force on earth can stop what has been faithfully declared and emotionally claimed. So walk in faith, speak from fulfillment, and rest in the knowing it is already done. Thank you for listening. Keep the vision alive, stay aligned, and remember, your reality is always becoming what you believe it to be. My friend, if you desire to rise higher, to transcend the limits that surround you, you must understand a sacred truth. You are not a victim of your current reality. You are the author of it. But more importantly, you are the author of the reality that is yet to be seen. The greatest mistake is to believe that what you see with your eyes is all there is. Your bank account, your job title, your relationship status, your health. These are shadows, echoes of thoughts you've previously entertained. They are not fixed, they are not final, and they certainly are not facts unless you believe them to be. Ignore them, yes, ignore the lack, ignore the delay, ignore the noise of the world that tells you to face facts. The only fact worth facing is this: your inner world shapes the outer. You are not here to chase after changes in the outer world like a beggar pleading for scraps of blessings. You are here to imagine boldly, to assume nobly, and to feel as though your desire is already fulfilled. That inner state, not effort, not struggle, is what changes everything. When you ignore your reality, you are not denying its presence. You are denying it the right to define you. If you feel poor, don't fight poverty. Assume wealth. If you feel alone, don't dwell in loneliness. Assume love. If you feel unwell, don't resist illness. Assume vitality. You do not escape the prison by rattling the bars. You escape it by closing your eyes and knowing you are already free. Let the outer world scream, "It's not here yet." Let your senses mock you and try to pull you back. But you remain faithful to the inner vision, for what you accept as real within will eventually harden into form without. Every time you react to what is, you give it life. But when you ignore it, you dissolve its power. Say to yourself, "This may be my current scene, but it is not my final chapter." Step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled and refuse to bow to appearances. You are not what you see. You are what you assume. So walk as if you already are. Speak as if you already have. Rest as if it is already done. And in the silence of your soul, reality will be rewritten. Your current reality is only a reflection of past thoughts, not a prophecy of your future. That statement, when truly understood, will liberate you from the chains of circumstance. Everything you now experience, every limitation, every condition, every delay, is nothing more than the residue of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you once held. You are not seeing truth. You are seeing echoes. The life you are living today is not a punishment, a reward, or some permanent condition decided by fate. It is simply a mirror. It reflects not what you are now imagining, but what you have imagined persistently in the past. And that mirror has a delay. What you thought last month, last year, even last decade, it took time to reflect into your world. So when you look around and see struggle or lack or disappointment, know that it is not prophecy. It is old news. It is a faded signal, already broadcast, long ago by the transmitter of your inner state. This is the mistake so many make. They see what is and believe it will always be so. But they do not realize that the power lies not in reacting to what is, but in choosing what comes next. And how do you choose it? Not with effort, not with worry, but with thought, with feeling, and with assumption. Marivaux. The moment you grasp that the present moment holds no creative power unless you give it your attention, you become free. Because if your reality today is the outcome of yesterday's thoughts, then you can begin today to write a new script, one that aligns with what you desire, not what you fear. You are not stuck, you are not trapped. You are simply caught in a reflection. And reflections change the moment the image within the mirror shifts. Your job is not to shatter the mirror. Your job is to change the source, the imaginal act within. The mirror will follow. You must train yourself to ignore the visible if it contradicts the life you desire. This is not denial, it is divine discipline. For if you let your eyes convince your heart, you will recreate the same conditions over and over again. But if you let your heart, your imagination, your feeling rule over the evidence of your senses, then your future becomes something entirely new. It does not matter what has happened before. It does not matter what you failed at or what you've been told is possible. What matters is what you now choose to accept as true. Your subconscious does not care whether a thought is fact or fiction. It only cares about repetition and feeling. So choose to feel the reality of your wish fulfilled. Choose to walk in the assumption that it is already yours, and do so consistently. Do not wait for life to confirm your belief. That is not faith. Faith is assuming something is real long before the world gives you permission to believe it. And when you walk in that assumption, unshaken by appearances, the old reflection will dissolve. A new one will emerge, one that reflects the new state you now occupy within. So never look at your current reality as prophecy. It is a memory, it is a page you've already written. And the next chapter, dear one, is being written now by your thoughts, by your feelings, and by the story you dare to believe. What you accept inwardly must express itself outwardly. Consciousness is the only cause. This is not philosophy, this is not wishful thinking, it is law. The world you walk through each day, the conditions you face, the relationships you attract, the opportunities or the obstacles, they are all shaped and formed by the state of consciousness you dwell in. Nothing happens outside of you that did not first begin within you. Your inner acceptance, not your effort, not your background, not the opinions of others, is the true seed of every outcome in your life. If inwardly you accept lack as normal, the world must mirror that lack. If inwardly you accept love as unavailable, your relationships will reflect that belief. But if you accept abundance, peace, beauty, success, or healing as already yours, then life must reshape itself to express that inward truth. You are not at the mercy of chance. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a creator, whether you know it or not. The challenge is that most people are unconsciously creating from fear, from limitation, from old wounds they've come to accept as permanent parts of their identity. But what is unconscious can be brought to light. And once it is seen, it can be changed. The cause of all things is not in the world. It is in the state of consciousness you live in, moment by moment. Your mood, your assumptions, your inner conversations, these are the builders of your world. The outer is the shadow of the inner. To attempt to change the shadow while leaving the light source untouched is useless. And yet, that is what most do. They chase outer change while still harboring inner beliefs of defeat and lack. The secret is not in striving, but in dwelling. Dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, living inwardly in the world you wish to see, long before your senses confirm it. This is not fantasy. This is the very mechanism of manifestation. For what you assume to be true within, your subconscious accepts, and what the subconscious accepts, it brings to pass without. You cannot hold an image of failure within and expect success to bloom outside. You cannot harbor bitterness and expect peace to find you. Whatever you claim inside must appear outside, for the world is compelled to reflect the contents of your consciousness. If you wish to change your life, do not begin with actions. Begin with awareness. Begin by observing what you've accepted as true for yourself. Do you believe you are worthy of wealth? Then you must see wealth. Do you believe you are destined for love? Then love must appear. But only if that belief is true inwardly, not momentarily, not half-heartedly, but deeply accepted, emotionally claimed. The world cannot give you what you refuse to accept within. This is why some who work endlessly remain stuck, and others who simply assume with boldness and consistency see results with ease. Because the power is not in what you do. The power is in what you believe and accept as already done. Consciousness is not one cause among many. It is the only cause. Your job is not to fix the world, but to fix your attention. As you do, the world bends. The outer reorganizes. And the life you imagine becomes the life you live, not by accident, but by law. To transform life, you must mentally detach from appearances and live in the unseen. This is the secret most overlooked, because they have been trained from birth to believe only in what they can see, hear, and touch. But the senses, as persuasive as they are not the source of truth. They are merely the reporters of past assumptions. They show you what was impressed upon the inner world days, weeks, or even years ago. If you wish to change the visible, you must stop believing in it as final and begin to trust what is still invisible to the eye, but alive in the imagination. The world of form is slow to change, not because it is stubborn, but because it is obedient. It mirrors whatever state of mind you continue to dwell in. If you stay focused on your current situation, your bills, your loneliness, your sickness, your job title, and you identify with it, you lock yourself into it. You reinforce it. You give it life. But when you detach mentally, when you refuse to call this appearance your identity, you begin the process of transformation. You are not your bank account. You are not your job. You are not your diagnosis. You are not what the world has told you. You are what you accept as true in the unseen realm of imagination. For it is there that all true creation begins. Everything that ever was or will be starts first as an unseen image, a quiet assumption. A feeling that dares to claim, this is who I am now. To live in the unseen means to shift your attention from the facts to the truth you desire. It means you walk by inner vision, not outer sight. You may look around and see lack, but within you hold the image of wealth. You may hear silence where love should be, but within you hear laughter and intimacy. You may feel pain, but within you feel the wholeness of a healed body. That inner knowing, that unseen acceptance, it is what gives form to the new. This is not pretending. This is not escapism. This is divine creation. The world calls it delusion, but only because it does not understand the power of consciousness. The one who walks by the unseen is not ignoring the world, they are redefining it. They are choosing to see not what is, but what will be, because they know that what will be is shaped by what they are conscious of being now. Transformation requires discipline of mind. You must choose again and again to feel the truth of the unseen over the evidence of the senses. You must persist in that state, even when the world shows no sign of change. Because change does not begin outside, it begins in the silence of your own awareness. Whatever you give attention to grows. If you feed the unseen vision with emotion, belief, and gratitude, it must become seen. It must externalize. It must become your new reality. So let go of the need to fix appearances. Appearances are the effect, not the cause. Withdraw your belief from what is fading and invest your faith in what is forming. Within you, for the unseen is not empty. It is the womb of all that is possible, and to live from it is to create a life that reflects not what is, but what is intended. Faith is assuming the invisible as real, not begging the visible to change. This is a truth that liberates the soul when fully grasped. Most people believe faith is something you call upon when all else fails, a final resort when the facts are grim. But real faith is not desperation, it is power, it is certainty. It is the quiet, unwavering knowing that what you desire already exists, though it may not yet be visible to the human eye. To live by faith is to understand that creation is finished. Everything you could ever want, be, or become already exists in the unseen. The question is not whether it exists. The question is whether you will assume it, whether you will claim it, whether you will walk in the feeling of its truth before a single thing in the world confirms it. Begging the visible to change is the mindset of the powerless. It says, please world, give me something different, but the world is deaf to begging. It does not respond to complaints or wishes, it only responds to assumption. When you assume something is already yours, not as a fantasy, but as a living reality in consciousness, the world has no choice but to conform. For the world is not the master, the world is the servant of your inner state. People pray for things to change, but their prayers are often filled with worry, with doubt, with attention to what is missing. That is not faith. That is fear in disguise. Faith does not plead, faith possesses. It says, I have it now, it is done, and it lives from that place regardless of what the senses report. This is the great misunderstanding. People think faith is believing that something might happen, but true faith believes it already has. It is the deep conviction that what is unseen is more real than what is seen, because what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. The invisible state you dwell in now will soon shape itself into your outer experience. Unless you waver, unless you doubt, unless you revert to begging the world to shift before you believe it has. Faith is not dependent on time or conditions or logic. It defies all of that. It chooses the end and lives in it, feels it now. When you assume the invisible as real, you are living by spiritual law. And that law is precise. Whatever you accept as true within must externalize without. The how, the when, the who, these are not your concern. Your only task is to remain faithful to the state of the wish fulfilled. Stop looking around for proof. Look within for presence. Stop waiting for the evidence to give you permission to believe. Believe first, feel first, assume first, and let the world rearrange itself around your new conviction. You were not created to chase outcomes. You were created to create them, not through effort, but through awareness, not through striving, but through surrender to the unseen. So walk in the invisible, talk to it, trust it, see it, live from it, and know that as you do, the visible must bow to the reality you have already claimed in faith. Ignore the facts when they contradict your desire. Facts follow imagination. This is the cornerstone of conscious creation. Most people live as prisoners to facts, allowing what they see, hear, and experience to determine what they believe is possible. But facts are not fixed. They are simply the result of old thoughts, old assumptions, and past imaginal acts. They do not predict your future. They reflect your past. When a desire is born within you, it is not to tease you. It is a glimpse into what is already possible. A whisper from your higher self saying, this can be yours if you dare to believe it. But belief cannot be based on current facts. If it is, you'll never move beyond your current circumstances. To manifest a new reality, you must turn your back on the facts that tell you it can't be done, and turn inward to the imagination, which already contains the seed of fulfillment. Your imagination is far more powerful than anything you call reality. For what you call reality is just a collection of frozen pictures, past impressions that have solidified into what your senses can now observe. But imagination is the source, the root, the creative force behind every fact that ever was. Look around you. Every invention, every building, every piece of art, every relationship, it all started in someone's imagination. It wasn't a fact until someone dared to hold it in mind and believe it long enough for the outer world to catch up. So when you're faced with facts that contradict your deepest desires, don't argue with them. Don't resist them. Simply ignore them. Now, this does not mean pretending that nothing is happening. It means refusing to accept those facts as final or defining. It means recognizing that facts are fluid and they are shaped by feeling, by assumption, and by vision. Your job is not to fix the facts. Your job is to shift your inner state until the facts reflect something new. If your bank account shows lack and your desire is abundance, you do not meditate on the number in your account. You imagine the freedom, the ease, the generosity of wealth. You feel it. You live in it internally. And as you persist, the outer world, which seems so slow and stubborn, begins to bend, not by force, but by law. Facts do not lead the imagination. Imagination leads the facts. You must become so committed to your inner vision that you no longer care what the outer world says. You see wealth even when lack is present. You feel love even when loneliness surrounds you. You assume success even when failure appears to dominate. This is not delusion, this is creation. This is mastery. You do not wait for things to change, you change your focus. You build the invisible world within and let the visible world follow. Because it must. So ignore the facts. Not out of defiance, but out of knowing. Knowing that they are old, expired, and irrelevant to the new reality you are now constructing. Keep your attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the world will mirror it. Because imagination is not just fantasy. It is the architect of your life. The outer world bends to the inner state, not the other way around. This is the truth hidden in plain sight. Most live believing that the external world has the power to dictate how they feel, what they become, and what they can achieve. They let circumstances shape their identity. But the wise know that it is the inner world, your thoughts, assumptions, emotions, and beliefs, that gives birth to the outer. The world does not move first, you do. If you wake up feeling anxious and defeated, and expect the world to lift your mood, you have already given your power away. The truth is, the outer world only reflects what you are conscious of being. If you dwell in the state of fear, the world will show you reasons to be afraid. If you assume you are unwanted, people will unconsciously reflect that assumption back to you. But when you step into a new inner state, one of confidence, love, abundance, even if nothing has changed yet, the outer world begins to reorganize itself to match that state. Not instantly, but inevitably. This is not magic. This is law. The inner state is the cause, the outer is the effect. But most people try to change their lives backwards. They say, when I have more money, I'll feel secure. When I meet the right person, I'll feel loved. When I get that job, I'll feel worthy. But that's not how reality works. If you want the outer to shift, you must first feel what you would feel if you already had what you desire. You must live inwardly in the result before it appears. Feelings are not reactions, they are creations. The state you dwell in most often becomes your dominant vibration, and that vibration instructs life how to behave toward you. It's not about pretending, it's about entering into the feeling of your wish fulfilled and making it your dwelling place. From there, life bends. Everything in the outer world is a mirror. It cannot show you anything you do not already believe or assume within. This is why two people can live in the same city, work the same job, have similar experiences, and one will thrive while the other suffers. The difference is not in their conditions, it is in their consciousness. The moment you choose to live from a new inner state, one that matches the life you desire, everything begins to shift. You'll notice different opportunities, people will treat you differently, ideas will flow, doors will open. And if the world doesn't bend right away, you don't panic. You remain still, faithful to the inner state, because you know that life has no choice but to yield to the consciousness you inhabit. You are not meant to be pushed around by the world. You are here to command it by the power of assumption. The outer is obedient. It follows, it reflects, but it does not lead. So do not wait for things to improve before you allow yourself to feel peace, joy, love, or success. Choose the state now. Live from the inside out, and watch how effortlessly the outer bends. Not because you forced it, but because you became it. And everything you seek, whether it be love, wealth, health, peace, or freedom, does not come by chasing the world, but by changing the state within. The facts of your life are not fixed. They are reflections of what you have previously accepted as true. To transform your life, you must stop reacting to appearances and begin to live boldly in the unseen. Assume your desires are already fulfilled. Dwell in the feeling of the wish accomplished. Persist in that inner knowing, and the outer world will reshape itself accordingly. Remember, your reality bends to your consciousness, not the other way around. Live from the end, and the end will live through you. Saying thanks. Thank you for spending your time here today. May these words remind you of the incredible power you already hold. Trust the unseen, believe in the inner vision, and never forget, you are the operant power. Close your eyes for a moment. Now ask yourself, who are you when the world is quiet? When the bills aren't in your hand? When the mirror doesn't talk back? When your bank account doesn't scream limitation? That version of you, calm, limitless, free, is not your imagination, it is your truest self, and everything you are creating flows from that awareness. You see, the physical world, the 3D, is but the residue of yesterday's beliefs. It is the hardened shell of thoughts you once gave life to. So when you walk through the world and it seems like nothing's changing, understand this. You're not looking at truth. You're looking at memory. Ignore it. Not with frustration, not with anger, but with calm authority. Because the truth is not out there, it's within. You are the dreamer of your life, and the world is compelled to reflect what you accept as real within. So when the 3D tells you you're not loved, go deeper. When it tells you money is tight, go inward. When it tells you you've failed, smile, because that's the lie trying to hold its last breath before fading. Focus only on what you are becoming, not what appears to be. Your imagination is not fantasy. It is creation in its purest form. What you repeatedly see and feel in your inner world becomes law in the outer. There is no exception. So persist. Even when the world stays the same for a moment, persist. Even when people question your faith, persist. For the 3D is not your master, it is your servant. It rearranges when you no longer dance to its tune. Live in the end. See yourself already where you want to be. Feel the joy of having. Speak like it's done. Think like the person who already has it. And watch how the outer begins to bend. Not by force, but by law. You don't chase reality, you create it. And when you hold fast to that inner vision, when you no longer react to the world, but instead act from your chosen state, the old world collapses. Then comes the shift, quietly, suddenly, magically. So let the 3D scream, you stay still. It must change because you have. The outer world is only a delayed reflection of your inner state. It does not show you what is real, it shows you what has been accepted within you as truth, often unconsciously. When you look around at your life and see lack, chaos, rejection, or stagnation, understand that you are not witnessing what is currently active. You are witnessing the results of a former vibration, a previous assumption, a belief that once found residence in your mind and was allowed to take root. This is why we say what you see with your physical eyes is old news. It is the echo of a thought, a feeling, an identity you once aligned with, whether you realize it or not. The world outside of you is not creating anything. It is merely responding to what has already been created within you. The error most people make is trying to change the shadow without ever touching the source of the light. They wrestle with effects, try to manipulate matter, chase people, argue with circumstances, all while the root cause within remains unaddressed and untransformed. To argue with the shadow is to fight with what has already passed. It is the equivalent of shouting at your reflection in a mirror, hoping your face will smile before you do. It's futile, exhausting, and leads to cycles of discouragement. And yet this is the default response of so many, to react emotionally to the 3D world, to judge what is seen, to label it as good or bad, and to base one's inner state upon it. This is living in reverse, allowing the outer to dictate the inner. Instead of realizing the outer is just a mirror of what you've been predominantly feeling, assuming, and accepting. The key is to reverse the order. Rather than allowing your inner world to follow the outer, you must anchor your inner world as the cause, the authority, the starting point of all things. What you feel habitually, what you assume to be true without effort, what you mentally rehearse in imagination and emotion, that becomes your reality. But there is a lag. And this delay is where most lose their power. They look at the unchanged world and conclude that nothing is working. They abandon their inner shift too soon, not realizing that the seed they've planted is still gestating. Patience is power in this work. You must learn to dwell in the invisible, to rest in the unseen, to trust that your inner state will be mirrored back in due time. There is no exception to this law. But you must stop being impressed by the shadows, stop reacting, stop fearing, stop identifying with what has already been projected. You are the projector, not the screen. To transform your life, you must stop looking for evidence and become the evidence. Begin to feel now what you wish the world would give you. Think from the place of already having. Speak as though it's yours. Walk as though it's done. And when the old world persists for a while, don't flinch. It is merely the final echo of an outdated state. The outer world is obedient, but it will only follow the lead of a mind that dares to believe without seeing. Feeling is the seed of all creation. It is not thought alone that brings your desires to life. It is the emotion that charges the thought, the inner conviction that breathes life into an idea and calls it into form. You may speak affirmations all day long, repeat visualizations, and script out every detail of your ideal life. But unless it is accompanied by genuine feeling, by a true inner knowing and emotional acceptance, nothing will shift in your external world. The universe, life, consciousness, whatever name you give to it, does not respond to words, it responds to states of being. It responds to who you are being internally. You must feel the reality of your desired state now, not later, not when the evidence appears, not when it feels easy, but now, in this moment. This is the great secret, to live from the wish fulfilled, not merely to wish for it. When you feel something as real, your subconscious mind accepts it as true. And the subconscious, once impressed, sets the wheels of reality in motion in ways you cannot predict or control. The how is not your job. Your role is to feel it has done, and to persist in that inner state regardless of the outer circumstances. The world tells you to wait, to hustle, to prove yourself, to earn what you want. But inner law is different. Here you must accept first and allow the world to conform after. You must carry the feeling of wealth before the money appears. You must embody love before the relationship arrives. You must feel healed before the diagnosis changes. This is not pretending. This is not delusion. This is mastery, the ability to dwell in a new inner reality, despite the absence of physical proof. And this is only possible when you recognize that you are the operant power. You are not a victim of the external world. You are not at the mercy of chance, luck, or circumstance. Everything in your life is shaped by the state you consistently occupy. If you remain in a state of lack, you will continue to experience lack no matter how hard you try on the surface. If you dwell in a state of fear, doubt, or waiting, your world will echo those feelings right back to you. But if you shift within, quietly, without struggle, if you assume that it is already yours and feel the naturalness of having it now, then creation begins immediately. There may be a delay, but the moment the feeling is accepted, the manifestation is inevitable. You cannot plant a seed and dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You must trust that what is sown will blossom when nurtured in the right environment. And that environment is your feeling. So ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Does it match the reality I desire? Or am I stuck in the emotions of the unwanted? Every time you return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you realign with the version of you who already has it. And that version, when sustained, becomes the dominant reality. Feeling is not a side note. It is the foundation. It is the creative force behind everything that shows up in your life. Honor it, master it, and use it wisely. The 3D world is a test, not a truth. It tempts you to forget your power, to doubt what you know deep within, and to trade your inner vision for outer appearances. But make no mistake, the world of form, the physical reality you walk through, is not the ultimate authority. It is merely a reflection of the assumptions, beliefs, and emotions you have consistently entertained. When it feels like nothing is changing, when your efforts seem fruitless, and when doubt begins to whisper, that is the moment of decision. That is the moment where creation either dies in fear or is born through faith. You are always being asked one question: do you believe in what you imagine, or do you only believe what you see? This is the great test. It is easy to believe in your desire when the world cooperates, when the results are visible and the progress obvious. But what happens when nothing moves? When it seems like your imagination is a dream and the world is your reality? That's when your inner world is being weighed not by some external judge, but by your own persistence and conviction. The 3D world lags behind. It operates on delay. It shows you what you used to believe, what you used to feel. That's why reacting to it is a trap. It pulls you back into the old state, and you unknowingly reaffirm the very thing you're trying to change. The outer world is like a mirror reflecting your past self. If you want the reflection to change, you don't polish the mirror, you change your expression. But this requires a new kind of discipline. You must learn to walk by faith, not by sight. You must choose the unseen over the seen. When you say it is done, but the world says otherwise, you must trust your inner word more than the outer evidence. This is the essence of conscious creation. Knowing that your imagined reality is more real than anything in the physical world, because it is the cause, and the 3D is only the effect. And so, when nothing changes, that's when the real work begins. That's the invitation to stand firm in your assumption. That's the moment the old self cries out to be resurrected. But you must deny it. You must persist in the state of the wish fulfilled, regardless of what the senses report. This is not delusion, this is alignment. This is faith in action. The world will catch up, it must. But only if you remain loyal to your vision. If you abandon your inner state at the first sign of resistance, then the 3D wins. But if you remain unmoved, if you say, I know what I've imagined, and that is what's real, then the world has no choice but to bend. The 3D is just a test of your focus. It's not here to hurt you, it's here to refine you, to strip away your dependency on the outer and anchor you in the truth within. So let the 3D say what it wants. Let it lie, let it delay, but you stand firm, because your imagination, sustained with faith, will outlast every illusion the world tries to offer. Persist in the unseen, and the seen must obey. This is the quiet law of all true transformation. The world does not shift because you force it, argue with it, or fight against it. It shifts because you remained loyal to an inner reality that no one else could see. You stayed faithful to the invisible, and in doing so, the visible world had no choice but to reflect that inner change. The unseen is your imagination, your assumption, your inner knowing. It's the vision you hold in your mind when the world gives you every reason to let go. It's the feeling you cultivate in your heart when nothing outside of you supports that feeling. And yet, if you persist there, if you continue to identify with the version of you who already has what they desire, then the outer world must eventually rearrange itself to reflect that inner identity. The shift doesn't happen through noise or public declaration. It doesn't need applause or validation. The real shift happens in silence, in those quiet moments when you choose to believe despite appearances. When you close your eyes and dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are moving mountains, though the world may seem still. You are laying new foundations in consciousness, and every brick you place in the unseen becomes a structure in the seen. People often give up too soon because they cannot see the roots growing. They plant the seed, water it with imagination for a day or two, and then dig it up in doubt because nothing has bloomed. But the universe, life itself, moves in response to the energy you persistently emit. It listens not to fleeting wishes, but to consistent embodiment. You must embody the state you wish to experience, even before it is visible. This means you must become it now, not when it arrives, not when the money comes, not when the relationship begins, But now, in silence, in faith, you assume the feeling of the one who already has it. You walk like them, you talk like them, you think and respond like them. And when the world confronts you with the opposite, you don't waver. You persist. You persist not because you are desperate, but because you are certain. You are no longer trying to make it happen. You are simply living in the reality where it already has. This is the kind of persistence that transforms lives. Not the loud kind, the still kind, the internal kind. The unshakable knowing that says, I don't need the world to confirm this for me. I've already confirmed it within. Eventually the world catches up. It always does. It bends, often in ways you could not predict. People shift, circumstances change, doors open, and it looks miraculous to others. But you know it wasn't chance. It was the natural unfolding of what you already accepted in consciousness. So don't chase, don't beg, don't look for proof. Persist in the unseen, return again and again to your vision, dwell in the end, feel it real, and let the silence of your inner certainty do the work. For what you consistently embody must become what you eventually see. The world is not in charge, you are. You are not here to observe reality, you are here to mold it. You are never meant to live as a passive spectator, simply reacting to the world around you. You were born with the ability to shape, direct, and create through the power of your consciousness. What appears outside of you is not meant to control you. It is meant to respond to you. But this only becomes clear when you begin to take full ownership of your inner world. Everything bends to the inner image you consistently hold. The world doesn't change just because you wish it would. It changes because you've changed your concept of self. Your assumptions, the deep beliefs you carry without effort, are creative. They silently govern what shows up in your life. If you believe you are worthy, opportunities arise that confirm that worth. If you see yourself as overlooked, life seems to echo that belief again and again. But none of this is random. It's all a reflection of the image you accept and persist in within your own mind. You are not at the mercy of fate, nor are you here to wait for permission from others. You are here to remember that your imagination is divine, and what you see inwardly with feeling and faith becomes what you eventually touch outwardly. The world is not fixed, it is fluid. It is not your master, it is your mirror. And that mirror reflects not just your thoughts, but your self-concept, your feelings, your assumptions about what is possible for you. This is why change must begin on the inside. Before the money comes, you must see yourself as abundant. Before the love appears, you must feel yourself as lovable. Before the success arrives, you must embody the version of you who already feels successful. It's not about acting, pretending, or forcing. It's about gently and repeatedly returning to the inner image that aligns with the life you desire. And the more you hold that image, the more natural it becomes. Your job is not to control the outside world, but to control the state from which you live. Reality reshapes itself to match that inner state. The assumption you hold about yourself in your life forms the mold into which the outer world pours itself. It doesn't matter how long things have been a certain way or how unlikely they seem. If you persist in a new assumption, the world must rearrange to mirror it. This is not fantasy, it is law. You can test it. Begin today. Start small if you must, but be consistent. Choose a new idea about yourself, one that aligns with what you want to experience. Feel into it, live from it. Let that image grow stronger in your mind than the images your senses show you. And watch how the external begins to shift in response. You are not a passive being here to observe what life throws at you. You are the one shaping the clay. Everything bends, not to your words or effort, but to the image you inwardly and silently accept as true. You are the cause. Reality is the effect. Let the 3D lie while the 4D lives. The world you see with your eyes, your current circumstances, situations, limitations, and obstacles, is not the truth. It is merely the echo of past thoughts and beliefs. It is the residue of who you used to be, not who you are becoming. So when the 3D shows you lack, delay, rejection, or struggle, let it lie. Let it say what it wants. Let it show you the opposite of what you've imagined, because that's all it can do. It reflects old assumptions. But you are no longer that person. The 4D, your inner world. Your imagination, assumptions, beliefs, and emotional states is where true creation happens. This is the real reality. The 4D is not something you visit briefly in meditation and then forget. It is the realm in which you must live. It is the only place that truly matters because everything in your outer world flows from it. The moment you shift in 4D, the moment you assume a new state of being, the outer world begins its process of rearranging. And while that change may not be instant, it is inevitable if you persist. Persistence is everything. If you ignore the noise of the 3D, if you refuse to be distracted or discouraged by its lies, and if you continue to dwell in your imagined end as if it is already done, then the 3D must conform. It has no choice. It is not the master, it is the servant. It responds always and without fail to the dominant reality held within. But most people fail this test. They get excited after visualizing, only to return to fear when the outer world remains unchanged. They say, I imagined it, but nothing happened. What they don't understand is that their inner shift began to stir the unseen forces, but they didn't hold the state long enough. They let the 3D lie pull them back into doubt. They gave more attention to what was than what could be. To live consciously is to dwell in the unseen, to walk by faith, not by sight. It means allowing the 3D to scream, to mock, to delay, and remaining unmoved. It means saying to the world, I see you, but I no longer believe you. I believe in what I've accepted within. I believe in my end. I believe in the unseen truth. The 3D is like a mirror, showing you your reflection from yesterday. If you don't like the image, you don't blame the mirror, you change your expression. In the same way, you must change your inner state and remain there. Keep revisiting your desired reality until it feels natural, until it becomes your default identity. You are not trying to make it happen, you are simply aligning with the version of you for whom it already has. Eventually, the mirror will catch up. The world will bow to your inner conviction, but only if you stop reacting to its lies and keep living in the truth of your imagination. Let the 3D lie. Let it say what it wants. You know better now. The 4D lies, and soon it must be made flesh. In the journey of conscious creation, your true power lies not in reacting to what you see, but in persisting in what you know within. The 3D world will lie, delay, and distract, but it cannot override the authority of your inner world unless you let it. When you choose to live from the unseen, to feel your desire as already fulfilled, to ignore appearances and remain faithful to your vision, you step into the role of creator, not victim. The outer world must conform to the inner image you consistently hold. Let the noise of the physical fade into the background and dwell fully in your assumed reality. That is the secret. That is the key. The world you want is already yours, if you dare to live in it now. Thing to say thanks in speech tone. Thank you for walking this path of truth with me. May you never again bow to appearances, but stand tall in your inner knowing. Trust yourself, honor your vision, and remember, reality is not something you face. It is something you shape.